I think that's obvious in saying that every test match you would like to start well, but especially once again want to make sure that we put a good peg in the ground and even start the test match ahead of India. That will be nice. We're a team that is very resilient and we come back almost always. We've got a great resilient team and we've got a lot of character and a lot of fight. But for me, it's more about how we start, trying to get ahead of the match, try and put pressure on India first, so they can try and play catch up for the rest of the series. But that's a lot easier said than done. We're going to make sure we do those things. So hopefully starting with the toss, I can start that first punch. Yeah, for me it's about, when you're looking at picking a team, it's about trying to find guys that can win you matches. So that's the conversations that we'll have, myself and Enoch, is to try and find from an 11 point of view which are the guys. On every surface is obviously different, and you try and make sure that you take that in consideration, but try and find out who will be guys that can get us 20 wickets and who will be guys that can put up their hands to score, to put on good totals. Obviously we didn't get 20 wickets in the previous match, and that is something that we are aware of and something that we are trying to fix and trying to make sure that we are better in this test match, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what wins you test matches. So our thinking will be trying to pick players that can influence the game and trying to win matches for the team. You try and chat and see what you reckon is going to, as I said, what's going to be your most aggressive option to try and get wickets. We didn't get 20 wickets in the first test, and for me that's something that I don't want to do again. I want to try and get 20 wickets this test match. So if there's grass on the pitch, then great. I mean, obviously we're used to playing on that, but we're not planning for that. We're planning for a pitch that will be a bit drier and that will spin. And if it doesn't, then so be it. I think it's just about mentally getting ready for what's lying ahead, so you're not surprised by it when the match starts. Yeah, I think we showed that in the first innings. For me, possibly the difference with us from 2015, is you try and survive on Indian spinning conditions, and with that sometimes you can become too defensive and you allow the opposition to be on top of you the whole time. Especially I feel that it needs to be a good combination of positive play, an element of taking risks at some stages of the game to try and counter that pressure back onto the bowling. Their record speaks for themselves. Especially from a spin bowling point of view, the two of them has done very well in India. So you have to try and put some pressure back on them, because otherwise they just bowl good balls all day long, and then one of those balls will have your name on it. So I thought the way that Dean and Quinton especially, the balance between attack and defence, I think is key when you're playing in the subcontinent. Knowing Indian conditions quite well, that the turf is a little bit more red in terms of that's generally a more spinning conditions. So expecting the ball to spin more than the first test from the straight. But yeah, we'll have to see how the pitch behaves. I mean, I'm not a pitch expert, but it's just that I think it will take a bit more turn than the first test. Yeah, it is complicated. You're right. Obviously, the shorter the test series, the more points you get. A 2 test match series, you get 120 points for 2 wins, and then you play a 5 test match series, and obviously you have to win 5-0, which is a lot harder than trying to win 2-0. But I've noticed with these things, you'll always find holes and flaws in systems. It's never going to be a perfect system. So for us, it's just about being the first that's going through this journey now of the Test Championship. I think home games are going to be very important. Obviously, we knew that coming here that India will always be a tough place to play, but you got to make sure you get your points at home, especially. And the nice thing about it now is your test matches where a team has already been 2-0 up or something like that. That third test match won't. In the past, you possibly looked at it maybe giving 1 or 2 young guys an opportunity, where now every test match is important because you're playing for over a 2-year period. So every test match has a lot of value and weight on every individual game.